shift. So in terms of the demand curve, again, we actually have a demand curve here, and this demand curve is labeled as D1. And so if there's something outside of price that changes, you'll see that the entire curve shifts from D1 to D2. So for an example, let's assume that in the particular case of Philander Smith College, there's an increase in the number of students who are enrolled at Philander Smith College. As a result, the increase in the number of books or pencils or pens or whatever that people purchase from the bookstore will increase. Not because there's been a change in the price, but simply because there are more students or because there's been an increase in the number of consumers. And you'll see here that at $15 hypothetically, consumers would not only buy 20 units, but now they'll buy 30 units. At $10, where they were buying about 25 units, now they're buying somewhere close to 40 units. Not because there was a change in the price. Again, remember that a change in price would have been a movement down along the demand curve or upward along the demand curve, right? But in this particular case, you can see that there was no change in price, but the entire curve actually shifts to the right here, right? Basically indicating that there's been an increase in the demand. Of course, if there was a decrease in demand, for example, there were less students to enroll at Philander Smith, we can create another quick curve here. We'll call this one D3 for just a moment. Okay, having a little bit of trouble with this fancy cursor. Okay, but if there was a decrease in the number of students at Philander, you'll see here that again the demand curve would actually shift to the left here. Okay, shifting to the left, basically indicating that there has been a decrease in the demand. So, what are some of these things that can actually cause this demand curve to shift? These are what we call non-price determinants of demand. So we have a list of about 5 non-price determinants of demand. The first one is the change in the number of buyers in the marketplace. And we gave that example a minute ago with the increase in the number of students at Philander Smith College. Again, if there's an increase in enrollment, there'll probably be more books that are purchased, not because there's a change in the price of the books, but just because that there are more consumers or students. Taste and preferences, number 2. Again, I like to look at taste and preferences as what's hot versus what's not. When something is hot, we all go out and we buy that. And of course, as we're buying that, we spend less of our money on what's not. Number 3, income. Well, everybody knows, again, for the most part, as our incomes increase, we basically buy more of it. Not because we just, necessarily it's more interesting to us or anything else, but just because we have more money. Again, the 4th one here is the expectations of consumers. Sometimes it's not that the event has actually occurred, it's just the expectation of an event occurring. For example, let's assume that we actually have someone to actually call you today and to say that the price of gasoline is going to go up by $1 within the next hour or 2. Chances are many of us would rush out to go buy more gasoline, not because the price of gasoline has actually changed, but again, there was some expectation that gasoline prices would change. And our 5th one here, which is the prices of related goods, and there are 2 different kinds of related goods. The first type of related good we'll talk about are those goods that are what we might call complements. These are goods that we actually purchase together. Something like coffee, and of course when we actually have coffee, we purchase some cream or some sugar to go along with that coffee. So those 2 goods are what we might call complements. And of course, the other type of goods that we actually have that are related are called substitutes. And again, these are goods that compete against each other. And so we might say instead of actually having coffee, what we might have is tea. So again, we either purchase coffee or we purchase tea. But these are what we might call those things that are non-price determinants, these things that will actually shift the demand curve to the left or right. So again, here I have another little quick chart here again showing that if there is a change in demand, there's an increase in the demand, or again, the demand curve will shift from left to the right. Again, this change is not because there's been a change in price, but simply because there's a change in something outside of price. Of course, in the other case, there's a decrease in demand, meaning that the demand curve will shift to the left here. Again, not because there's been a change in price, but something outside of price changes. And of course, so let's do a quick review here. Again, these were the things that we talked about, the non-price determinants. They would actually force the demand curve to shift to the left or to the right, or actually to the right or to the left, I'm sorry. And then finally, going back to review a change in quantity demanded. Note that a change in quantity demanded is, again, as prices go down, quantity demanded increases. As prices go up, quantity demanded decreases. So again, stay tuned for our next episode. We'll be talking about a change in quantity supplied versus a change in supply. Thank you.